In this video, I'm here to talk about Cesar Romero and Burgess Meredith, the very first Penguin and Joker duo. And I like grouping Joker and Penguin together like this. I love the team up of Joker and Penguin. Joker is considered Batman's arch enemy, and a lot of the classic versions of Batman, like the comics, live action show and cartoons, Penguin is often considered the second arch enemy, and so because of that, Joker and Penguin got paired a lot. They even got paired in Scooby Doo, and I think they make such a great duo. They're so fun together, like, the sophisticated, fancy gentleman thief Penguin and the clown prince of crime, the Joker. They work so well together. Cesar Romero was the very first actor to ever play the Joker, while Burgess Meredith was the very first actor to play the Penguin. And they played Joker and Penguin in all three seasons of the 60s Batman show. Like Catwoman and Riddler, their performers changed, but Joker and Penguin, they stayed as Cesar Romero and Burgess Meredith throughout the entire show. And they also both appeared in the movie where Penguin is actually the leader because, as he says, on land you can make command, but on sea it is me. So, Penguin kind of took charge a lot, and actually Joker and Penguin, they kind of appeared in about the same number of episodes. Joker's often considered the arch enemy, but in 60s Batman, Joker and Penguin were kind of tied for that role, which is pretty interesting. Cesar Romero and Burgess Meredith were both absolutely amazing as Joker and Penguin. They were both absolutely wonderful choices to play the characters, and both were scene-stealing delights to watch. Pretty much any episode where one of them is in it is just guaranteed to be so much fun. They were both brilliant performers, and grouping these two together I think is also fair because they kind of proved something that I think was kind of ahead of their time. Cesar Romero and Burgess Meredith, they were both in their late 50s when they started appearing in 60s Batman, and by the time the show was ending, they were both in their early 60s. And I think a lot of times, for, these big superhero projects, like, oh, they gotta get the big young performers, in case the series or movies or whatever, becomes big and they want to do it for years, and they often think, like, oh, don't want to get those older performers, but Cesar Romero and Burgess Meredith were kind of some of the earliest examples where it's like, oh, these older actors, they can be amazing, and it's worth it to have them, and because I think, maybe Penguin you can maybe imagine being in his 50s. I think a lot of people kind of imagine Joker maybe being in his 30s or 40s, so having an actor that's almost 60 as Joker might seem a bit counterintuitive, but Cesar Romero proved that, these older actors, they can do amazing work, and they shouldn't be treated like, oh, they're old past their prime. No, they were both Cesar Romero and Burgess Meredith were amazing, and they were absolutely the right choices, because, like, Frank Gorshin, who played the Riddler, he was in his 30s, and Cesar Romero and Burgess Meredith were both pretty much old enough to be his father, but they were able to keep up with him and be energetic and amazing in their own right. And I was actually convinced for the longest time that Cesar Romero was close in age to Adam West, but he was actually like about 20 years older than him, like 22 years older than him. And it's amazing how he was able to keep up with Adam West. And I think it goes to show, they were the head of their time. Like, Willem Dafoe and Alfred Molina, reprised the roles as Spider-Man villains while, like, in their late 60s, and they at least had the advantage of de-aging effects. Cesar Romero and Burgess Meredith didn't even have that. They were so good and such brilliant performers that they didn't even need that. And a lot of people, when they talk about Cesar Romero's Joker, they always have to bring up the mustache. I wouldn't shave the mustache, and really, I think his performance was so great and so enjoyable that the mustache is really just a tiny detail. If anything, it's a fun little quirky thing that Joker has. It is not the big thing that Cesar Romero should be remembered for is, oh, the Joker with the mustache. He was the first Joker, and I think he is still one of the best Jokers. I think there's an argument to be made that he could be considered the best Joker, and I certainly think that Burgess Meredith is the best Penguin that there's ever been, and I think that both Cesar Romero and Burgess Meredith are the definitive versions of the villains they played. Like, when I think of Joker and when I think of Penguin, I definitely think of these two. They are spectacular, and I loved it when they teamed up. Not only did they team up in the 60s movie, there was a big, like, extra long special in the second season where they teamed up, and that was amazing. Love Joker and Penguin teaming up, and I think maybe because of how well they worked together in the 60s show, maybe that's why they appeared so much together in the cartoons, and Joker and Penguin are just such a great duo, and Cesar Romero and Burgess Meredith were such brilliant, wonderful performances, and I think their great work continues to live on in the hearts of the fans, and I think that there's been so many different takes on Joker and Penguin and so many good ones, but I think none of them have, like, there's some they consider, like, oh, maybe they're right up there with Cesar Romero and Burgess Meredith, but I think they are still, like, the definitive examples of those characters, and they are just absolutely delightful and deserve to be remembered as two of the greatest actors of their generation, and I think multiple generations should go and see their work, because they really are that amazing.